episode of the Project Exodus podcast is brought to you by ProjectExodusCorp.com. Visit our website and look through the catalog of all the products that we have, new and upcoming products, and even some of our classic t-shirts. All of the proceeds from these purchases go to helping someone in early recovery from substance abuse, whether that's getting a bus pass, a cell phone, or even maybe helping get into a recovery program. You can get them in all sizes and colors. Here's my favorite, in pink. Nice. These are great quality products that you can get here, and it goes towards a good cause. So again, thanks for checking us out and enjoy the show. What's up?
Good afternoon.
Welcome to the Project Exodus podcast, episode 22. My name's Paul.
I'm Andrew.
I'm Joel.
And we're doing a very unusual Saturday afternoon episode. Oh, don't forget, we also got Eden. Eden's here. It's kind of hard to see.
I don't know what camera's on me.
They're the desktop camera.
Okay. It moved.
Right.
There he
Cool.
is. Say what? Wave hi. No? Okay.
But we also have two other cameras. We got this one for Joel. Oh man, this guy.
But
We have two other cameras. Yeah.
There's
One,
Joel.
2, and 3. I don't know which one it is, but yeah.
It's fucking confusing.
It's tough. It's tough. It's tough. You got to kind of be involved enough.
Yeah.
You got to put some practice, dude.
You know, I
We got to
mean,
get you a podcast studio.
when you're one day when you're a single full-time parent, you'll understand. You know,
Maybe one day. I can
It'll
I can
happen.
only aspire. Pray for that.
it's not easy.
No, but we just we wanted to make sure we got some content in this week. We usually do our podcasts on Thursday evenings, and this week we just had a lot of stuff just came up, and we couldn't get in here, and we just agreed to come in this afternoon and do it. Saturdays are fun-filled days, and today we're here. So, what's been going on with you guys?
Come on, Joel. You're too quiet all the time.
God, have you learned to shake hands and look at people now?
man, it's a process, man. So, I don't know. I've just been running around all day, so I'm still trying to get in podcast mood. What have you been doing, Andrew?
Well, today or just in life? Well, same old, man. Just staying clean, sober, day at a time. You know, living life, working, taking care of my responsibilities best I can, hanging out with this guy as much as I can. I don't know. In addition to my plate, everyone seems like in my life has a lot on their plates. So I've been doing this juggling act, trying to just balance everything and still try to find some peace. And it's been difficult, but I mean, nothing crazy. Still no ruling on you do? All right. What do you do after you when you're done going to the bathroom? Maybe flush the toilet? Probably. Yeah, it's probably a good idea. All right.
Maybe
what
wash
are you
your
doing?
hands.
Number 1 or number 2?
Number 1 or 2.
1? Okay.
Okay.
Perfect.
Wash your hands. Make sure you put the seat back down.
All right. Close the door when you
There's no microphone on the
Yeah, the
headphones.
microphone's here.
Yeah. The bathroom's out
Here,
that
come
door.
right, come say bye.
Bye.
All right, get out of here.
Chris.
It's right there behind
the
the
one with the knob on it.
You have a brain, right? Go.
Yeah. So, this week's been okay. It's been, I kind of get tired of like hearing myself. Oh, it's overwhelming. Like it's been fun. It truly has. There's enjoyable moments. I mean, I really had a good time the other night when we all ran over to the house just to hang a TV,
Yeah.
and that was
Killed it.
fun. You know,
When I hit that stud
Mhm.
with that screw, I was so happy.
I don't know. Like I just kind of feel like we got to look at this from a different perspective.
Yeah. I mean, months go by, years have been going by, and I keep thinking like things are going to level out and it's going to be like a little easier. And it just hits a new level of intensity, a new level of involvement, a new level of investment. Like, you know, it's just I don't know. It's a lot of work to run houses and to run the nonprofit and just I don't know. It's a good overwhelming. I mean, I'm grateful for the position I'm in today. It's just a lot.
Everything's growing fast.
I enjoy the challenge of it. I mean, I really do. I enjoy the challenge of being reliable for people or to people and being accountable. The one thing I don't like letting it like bleed over into my home life, with Shelby involved, but she loves it. She's been killing it.
Yeah.
And, I feel like she does more than all of us put together sometimes, but, outside of that, like just, I kind of go back and forth on like how I want to be, if I want to just let business be business and then let personal relationships be personal relationships. It's a difficult line to draw in the sand sometimes, but for the most part, it's just been really challenging in a good way. Mentally, I try my best to invest into each individual I can. But man, the curveballs out of like left field that what are you doing?
What's up, Sonya?
What's Sonya talking
girl?
about? But yeah, it's wild. It's been fun. We got a meeting tonight for anybody that's watching, 7:00. Next Generation Recovery. I'll be doing a topic on leadership, which to kind of bridge that gap, we got a leadership meeting starting on Wednesday nights at 6:30 for the next several weeks for anybody that's interested in learning some good leadership qualities. But it's mainly related to recovery homes, house leads, assistant house leads, service commitment leaders. Talking about like why do you want to be a leader? Should you be a leader? How to be a leader in those particular facets. What is your take on that, Joel? You've been doing it for a long time.
Yeah, but I came from a different, probably a different position than most. I don't know. I didn't want to be a leader. You know what I mean? I was uncomfortable. I was.
Do you want to be a leader now?
I feel like it's kind of my. I think it's kind of my duty now to be a leader. You know what I mean? As the years went on, but like I didn't want leadership. I didn't want the attention. I didn't want to be a leader because I didn't believe in myself. You know what I mean? So I lacked confidence. I lacked the self-esteem. I thought needed to be a solid leader. I had no leaders in my life really. Growing up, I didn't have a father figure in home. There was just no leaders. All my friends were, alcoholics and drug addicts. I mean, I lacked even anyone to even inspire to be. So,
you somehow in there
in
the mix, you just became a leader. You are a leader.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I had some people around me that kind of pushed me to be a leader. They saw something in me that I didn't see in myself, and I think that kind of got the ball rolling. But it was probably when I started going all in on service work. Did I start feeling like a change, like a little bit, like something? Maybe I had something to offer actually.
Yeah.
So,
after I went out and came back, after you and I were in New Life together, you were a completely different person.
Yeah, I was all mature when you came back.
Yeah.
I'm like, here's how this goes down.
Yeah, he's got like
what?
4 guys in the car. We're going to Chili's. I think Paul, you were there, right?
Yeah.
Went out to Chili's.
Oh yeah. This is
like,
right after we got there.
I came from looking up to you, and then come back to like, when are you gonna get your life together, man?
You done yet?
Yeah, it's interesting. It's an interesting concept to think about when, from this perspective where you don't look at yourself as a leader. But you say a lot of really quality things that strike chords with people. I can't remember what Scott told me. You told him, I think it was like you told him to outgrind everybody or something like that. And he texted me yesterday and was just like, man, I've lost some weight. I've got a job. I'm real close to getting a motorcycle. I'm working on getting my kids back.
Who's this?
Oh, Scott and Ventura.
Yeah,
he's got them.
Yeah, we got two Scotts now. Yeah, I see him. I just rolled up there earlier, and he was just sitting on it.
Yeah, but it's really, and he's 8 months sober. 8 months sober. So like in that amount of time, what he's accomplished. I was going to tell you, I don't think the mics will pick that up, Andrew. I think he's fine. Yeah.
All right, but he's got a full blast, and it's
But yeah. So, and he sent me this really long message, very very
Scott E, right? Is that
yeah,
what we're talking about?
great message.
You
He
used to
said,
hang with him back in the day.
Yeah.
I've known him since I was 16. We used
By
to,
Harvest House.
we used to roll blunts over here in the park back in this neighborhood.
We used to. So I met him at the court program. I think I'd run into him a couple times prior to the court program, but he was in there. And I remember the first thing he was like, "Oh, tell Andrew I said hi." But he sent me this message, and at the end of it, he was like, "I'm so thankful to Project Exodus." He's like, Joel told me, he's like, outgrind everybody, and that was like his mindset. That's kind of helped propel him to this point. It's like it wasn't. I think like you being able to inspire people by giving them that, that one line that really helps people is what makes you such a great leader. You just have a way of conveying what this program can be for someone in, just a very, very distinct way.
Yeah.
Hey, Andrew,
Sometimes
if you don't
I'm not
mind, rotate the cameras.
Rotating?
Yeah, just,
stay off me.
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Sorry. I'm just too busy looking at you. Beautiful faces.
Right. Yeah, if you could do that. That's kind of the producer's part.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily a fan of my style of leadership all the time. Usually, sometimes it's somewhere through some frustration, some internal or whatever. But like, I mean, that is one thing I do strongly suggest to any of the guys. I never knew exactly where I was going in life. Even if I start like a new job, I don't know what that entails. How to be a productive employee or a boss or whatever. But I can start by outworking everybody around me, and not on like not on trying to one up, another person in any type of negative way, but just that becomes my baseline.
You just focus on honing in what you're good at and what you're
name what I'm good at, because then I'm stuck only doing what I'm good at. You know what I mean? I'm never growing, but like I'll just look around at the people around me, go into a recovery meeting, look at the people that are doing great in life and just one up them. You know what I mean? Because I don't know the exact route in life to take. I got all these goals. I got ambition. I got places I want to go and the ways I want to feel and what I want to do in life. I don't know the route to take. So I just look around at everybody else. I see them in positions I want to be in and just outwork them at what they did. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't really have a better suggested way to do it. I can't, quantify some of the routes to take to get where I want to go in life. So I just outwork that's like kind of the default mode the past couple of years.
Just keep on learning and keep pushing forward.
Yeah, it's almost like a competition with yourself.
Yeah. And I just don't know the route to get to where I want to go. And I spent so many years of my life just sitting there, just not knowing, but then not making a move.
Where do you want to go?
Oh man, I want freedom.
Like financial freedom?
Everything.
Yeah. I want it across the board, man.
Yeah. And I think
just want to be able to just sit back and just enjoy life.
I mean, I think the grind is my new enjoyment, but in the back of my mind, I feel like there's a place of comfort internally where I don't have that worry. You know what I mean? It's just like, well, why did I ever want to drink alcohol or use substances? I wanted that fear gone. I wanted the worry gone. I wanted the narrative of the voices in my head to suggest to me that everything in life is going to be all right. If I can work my way into that position in life where I wake up every morning and the narrative of my thoughts say, man, everything's going to be all right today, because I don't have to worry about any financial worries. I don't have to worry about relationships because I got a bunch of healthy relationships around me. You know what I mean? I don't have to worry about my health because I put myself in the best possible health at that moment in life. You know what I mean? Like I want the feel of what a drink or a substance would give me, but I want it naturally through my work.
Without consequences.
Yeah. Negative consequences.
Yeah.
I think it's really funny that you brought up the competition, or like how you have to be competitive with yourself and almost look at the world as your adversary as far as like a measuring stick of achieving your goals. Because I remember coming into recovery, I actually bring this up tonight about both of you when I talk about leadership. So spoiler alert to anybody that's coming to the meeting. I remember coming out of jail and running into Andrew for the first time. Like I was still like I wasn't a duck on water yet necessarily. I was a baby deer just trying to figure it out. But it was like, oh, okay, I'm going to follow whatever this guy's doing. And then getting around you, I remember being at Celebrate Recovery one night and Lonnie asking me to be assistant house leader. And I was just dead set. I was like, no, I'm not doing that. That's stupid. That's crazy. I'm not doing that. And I sat next to Joel at Celebrate and look over at him. And I was like, Lonnie's asking me to do this. He was like, it's going to be really good for your recovery. But he was the first person out of anyone I'd brought it up to that had said something like that encouraged me to do it. Right. And I think that I had so much respect for what he was doing that it sunk in. I was like, oh, if Joel says to do it, I'm going to do it. And a lot of times I feel like that's what I need in my personal life is like I have a pretty small circle, and hearing it from those people that, mean the most or have the most influence on me is what I need. And so I go over a few topics with leadership tonight, just in general about what are the qualities a leader has, what kind of qualities is it? Are you being a good listener? That's one thing Andrew's like super good at. Like I can call Andrew and he listens. And
What?
Yeah,
Huh?
your headphones work? No, but
I listen. I prefer to listen.
No, but that was like last week when we were doing the meet with Sonia was like, "Who's a really good communicator?" I was like, "Andrew." And I don't know what happened. I think she was going to ask you to be on the panel, but she ended up asking me. But that was like one of the big things that I thought of when communication is like being able to be a good listener. And I'm horrible at that. Where Andrew will listen and then give you feedback at the appropriate time and really kind of digest what you're talking about. Like it's wild. Like
Yeah, that I noticed that as well. You're like slowly, like when I'm listening to someone, I'm like, "That's wrong." I mean, like and Andrew's like calm, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, I see.
Yeah, no, it's like
there's no fear. There's no alternative motive. He doesn't believe. He's just looking for the most valid point. Very.
I
Yeah,
try
it's
to
very
tell people what to do or give any advice because I don't really feel like I know a lot.
Yeah, you're very neutral, non-biased
I don't know.
listener.
No, I mean, but that's honestly one of the best qualities about you from a friend perspective and a business partner perspective is like I know I can call you and just let it all out, and then at the end of that 90-minute session, you're not gonna butt in and say, "Hold on, let me answer this." And then you'll come in and it's like you retained every bit of it to just tell me the right thing at the right time.
You guys really believe that?
No,
Yeah.
for sure. No, it's 100%. Like
Yeah,
you have a ton of horrible qualities.
tell
You do
myself
exactly
that I
that.
suck.
Yeah, you'll do
the
exactly
time.
that, and then show up late. Like,
Isn't that funny? Because I don't see a lot of that stuff myself. A lot of time I'm just like, I just will doubt. Like, man, I'm just not doing good, or I need to be better. And then people around me are like, no, man, you're like,
it's hard to tell what, and this is a good point for, I guess, the discussion, man. It's hard to tell what better is. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like, where am I getting the thought of how I'm going to be better? Am I looking around the room? Am I looking, to people, like other friends or business partners or people in the community for what I need to be doing better? Or am I looking internally on like where I want to be and the progress I've made and where, you know what I mean? Like, it kind of grays some areas on better for who and better for what and better compared to who or better compared to myself last year. There's just, I don't know. I'm not sure what all that is. It's a little bit of bubbles going on.
He's playing with the toy kitchen. It's fun.
Oh yeah. Toy kitchen's pretty cool.
Yeah. No, I mean, all that being said, it's like I think leadership and recovery is essential to progression, especially as you get further and further and further into your sobriety in some form or fashion. I'm not saying you need to go, buy a bunch of halfway houses, but I mean, even in like your home group, finding a leadership position, whether it's going in and being a part of the business meeting, getting a position there. I mean, I know Shelby's really involved with, what is it? The area with like NA.
yeah.
And I mean, and like I'll come in some days and she's like filling out calendars for meetings that she's involved in, and like that just really gives her purpose, and I'm very proud of that for people. Like even we call them service positions a lot of the times, but being able to go in there and be someone that the people that are involved can rely on as like a form of a trustworthy individual, like you start to provide it provides you with a place to be needed. And I think that is just so oftentimes neglected by a lot of people because of that same mindset I had of like, I don't want to do this. Like, well, why not? Why don't you want to be a leader to someone? I mean, even then the 12 steps, when it talks about carry this message, to others that are sick and suffering with this same disease, it's like you have to be, that is the definition of being a leader for someone, leading them out of this life of addiction or alcoholism, or, even at work or whatever. I mean, you have to be a leader at somewhere. So what are those qualities in your opinion? And what is a leadership quality in your opinion,
I think
Andrew?
a leader could go either way. You could be leading people negatively down. I mean, you know what I mean? Like no
Yep.
matter what you do, your actions, your words influence people, so if you're negative all the time, you're going to be, leading people or influencing them to feel negative, to be negative, that stuff rubs off. So, I was thinking about when you were talking about being a leader, it's like used to hear in the rooms, when you first come in, you're a sponsor in training. So even being a sponsor, you're a leader.
Yeah.
And you're teaching somebody or somebody's had the courage to ask you to take them through the 12 steps and to share these personal things. And, maybe they saw something.
You definitely have to be a good
in you.
listener then.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's basically what leadership is the ability to influence. I think like probably the best leaders around are people that people will follow. It changes the game when we're in the like halfway house business and stuff like that. Like people, you got leaders just based on titles, and then you got some house leaders that people will follow because they want to be like them. You know what I mean? And I think that changes the game. Like if you can be a leader because people want to be you or be like you or value you, you know what I mean? They're going to follow not because of your title, because you're the house leader or an owner or something like that.
They just see how you're living your life, and that's attractive.
I mean, that's what I would, that was hard for me. I couldn't see that a lot from the meetings I was going to. I mean, there's some people that, I looked at early recovery pretty superficial. I looked around at the vehicles that were in the parking lot, looked at, what people did for a living, look what people look like aesthetically, to find, everyone's constantly, walking into a room full of a bunch of new people looking for the person they want a leader. You naturally, you just kind of look to like, who is someone I want to be like in this room and what are they doing? Just naturally when you walk into a room. So I don't know. Like, I guess if I have to be someone, I would want to be someone that could look to and influence in a positive direction.
Yeah,
or just give them hope.
It's really funny how that evolves too, because I think that it's very common when people come in, like you hear it all the time. It's like find someone that has what you want, and I think for a lot of people in early recovery, peace isn't the first thing that comes to mind. It's like, oh wow, they are not wearing hand-me-down clothes, like they're driving a car. But I think as you progress through recovery and you start to realize like, oh, these people are just like me. They've just strung enough days together of not using and drinking to form some sort of life. And I think now that I've gotten to this point, I have to constantly remind myself to be humble, because even those people that I was using as a jumping off point to want to achieve what they have, even those people have issues and are still sick and have to constantly do a reprieve and a daily inventory and checking themselves, and I think that it's so interesting how the brain or the the genetic makeup of someone with an addiction problem, if you will, evolves in healing themselves. And ultimately, I think the thing that I realize now is I'm not looking at who has the nice car or the nice house or the great job or the amazing relationship. I'm really looking for that person that has just peace in their life. And can have, compartmentalize the stress that they have appropriately.
I think when you get to a meeting, you get an hour of like the best that person's got to offer, and when they're, say, the topic's on gratitude or whatever the topic may be, they're just sharing like their best version of how they deal with this stuff, and you don't really get to see them in their day to day when they're getting up at 4 a.m. and doing this and then going to work, and they're just getting frustrated. And I don't know where I was going with this. I just brain farted.
It's okay.
Yeah.
But like, I couldn't even fathom when I would hear people share at meetings, and I'd just be like, or they would share their story, but looking at them, there's no way you'd even recognize it. But then if I kind of compare that to myself, like I used to sleep in my car on 23rd Street in the hood, and and then I just look at myself, I'm like a completely different person. But it makes sense now, but I had to like do the work. I had to do the hard stuff one day at a time, just going to work, doing all the things I was supposed to be doing my entire life, showing up to work on time, not calling out sick all the time, not getting fired. I had to just over time, just, slowly kind of just,
I feel like the work just continues. There's just like a new level of it. In my mind, especially in early recovery, I'm like, well, I'm just going to get the car and then I get the house and do this and get the job that, I can, find some type of financial freedom with and get a girl or whatever. And then in my mind, that was it. Like
permanent vacation.
There was just kind of, I was just going to be this king that sat on his couch on the weekends or something. And that's just not the way it is, man. So
new levels of responsibility.
Yeah, it's like, okay. So now, I got all the materialistic.
I think he's just playing with toys.
Yeah. I got all the materialistic items in a job and whatever. And then I try to do a relationship, and I'm not good at that. So it's like, that's a new level of, a new frontier, because I didn't practice any of that. I didn't date anyone when I was in the meetings, especially in the first year and a half I was in recovery. You know what I mean?
You didn't want to invite him back to New Life?
I just, and I just didn't meet anyone. You know what I mean? Like, and I was awkward and just, you know what I mean?
Weird AF.
Yeah. Shout out to all the awkward.
None of that's changed.
Yeah. Just new levels of it. Yeah. This is more intense.
Yeah, it's
I'm the louder, awkward person.
I'm stuttering over here. The amount of time that goes into repairing yourself, like you were mentioning, like you were kind of evolving out of a new stage of life. Like look at Greg, for instance, Greg F. So like, he did the halfway house thing, and developed a program for many people that have helped them and he evolved to a new stage of his life, a new frontier. And I talked to him a couple of days ago, and it seemed like he was like, I don't want to say a different person, but you could just hear the joy and the stress was not necessarily, he was still crazy as all get out, but just the questions that he would ask me
for the code.
This was probably the most peaceful. Yeah. I had seen him because I saw him today, and he kind of had that energy. Yeah. But maybe even he feels like the relationship's farther apart, like, cause he could walk into any house I was in or in any moment and just throw me every of his darkest secrets in seconds flat, and he probably feels like like he comes back to town, it feels like it's not the same. You know what I mean? Like our relationship's not the same. They can't tell me all the crazy stuff all the time. So, so I could feel that I think we stood farther apart today. Yeah.
That's not common. Yeah, Greg would run up on you like, hey, what's going on?
Yeah. He talks
a little more touchy with me now. It just took him a little while.
Real close. Man.
I missed it. But it's really cool. Like when I was talking about the evolution of your recovery, it's like, I get to be proud of Greg. You know what I mean? Like he gets to be proud of us. And, it's just it's really inspiring to see how that stuff evolves.
Yeah, I mean, he knows what kind of work. I mean, he had to work. It was just him running the show for years, and he ran around like a wild man. You know what I mean? I remember. And I can see visions of him in the way I'm walking.
Definitely, yeah. I see Greg and Joel all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm running in. I'm running a lot of times out of frustration from hours worth of, just being annihilated by my own thoughts and fears and whatever. And then I'll just run into a house and be like, da 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 da. And I'll leave like a couple hours later. I'll be like, I think that went okay. But that's literally all I said. Feel like, oh, that's great communication. I think we're good.
So we got I met with Megan Howell this week. And she's going to actually be on our podcast, or on the podcast here Thursday.
How cool would it be if we could get like a pink couch in here for when she came?
Just put a,
just
put one-
surprise her.
And then turn the freaking
then blast
the heat. Oh my goodness. No, but I had a really good meeting with her. I talked to her about a couple. Oh yeah.
Dude, we sweated.
I walked into her office and it has a
Was
beautiful.
it hot again?
No, so it's a beautiful office. They have art everywhere. It's just like it's so relaxing when you walk in. Super, really zen, if you can imagine.
Yeah.
Like she has one of those little zen sandbox tables on there.
We made origami when she came to the meeting. I can imagine.
Yeah, and so I walk in and I'm like, "What's the temperature at? 85?" And she goes, "No, I had to turn it down. It was hot in here." And I was like, "Oh, perfect." And she goes, "I had the heat on." I'm like, "Yeah, no joke." But Megan, I met with her and I went over like a couple things. Like I showed her our business proposal, business plan to kind of get, some feedback, some, peer review, constructive criticism. Gave me some really good tips. She had mentioned like maybe we should make an additional one that's just one page with everything on one page, which I thought, like a condensed version. Yeah. And then I haven't really talked to you guys about this at all. I kind of have saved this for the podcast. So I've mentioned this before about the guy, Johnny, he's from Wisconsin. Him and his wife, Trish, they come down once a year to Kissimmee and they're snowbirds. But while they're here, they were inspired years ago because he owns a restaurant. He's a chef to cook and hand out meals to the homeless in Kissimmee. And so I watch and follow. And for those that don't know, when I first came into recovery and kind of got caught up on social media and connected, I was watching back through old videos and I found a video of me when I was active addiction.
Did you really?
Yeah, living in the woods and come walking out, got some food and walked back.
From this guy.
And I've been reaching out to him and speaking in passing. I mentioned Project Exodus. I mentioned Sarasota. I mentioned the programs that are here. And so he's been going out and with what little information he has, he's been sharing the word. Haven't received any phone calls yet. But this past week, he posted a video and I always watch and the videos always start the same. It's just him. He's got like those Ray-Bans, those like GoPro or whatever.
Those
glasses.
Yeah, those Meta glasses.
And it's just him walking down this trail through the woods, just like very Blair Witchy, And all of a sudden you hear him start yelling, "Kelly, Professor." And when he said that, I knew exactly who those two people were. Matter of fact, I lived in this next to them in the same, I got really close to those people, but Professor is well up into his age, like into his 70s. And so you don't see him and he's carrying this food and he opens the tent. Now I haven't seen this gentleman since almost 3 years. And he goes in and he's just bundled up, beard. And it struck me because I know that this gentleman suffers with some mental health issues. But once I really started digging into where they were located, because of the changes in laws and the strict regulations that have been put on people that are transient, they've just been picking them up, taking them to jail, keeping them there for 2 or 3 days and releasing them. And while these people are out, while they're in jail, usually their camps get ransacked. Everything they had's been stolen, any food, clothing, it's just been thrown away. But anyway, what was I saying? Anyway, what I was saying was that they had moved so far away from anything public. They are
all the homes
they're out. They're
like they're in state grounds that are miles. Like the closest gas station, if you were walking, is 40 minutes.
Holy cow.
Yeah. So this guy's like literally just isolated in the woods. And
the Professor?
Mm-hmm. And Kelly is probably our age, maybe a little bit older. And she's in active addiction. There's no denying that. And I don't think she would deny it, but she's his caretaker. And so I've seen it. And I've been wanting. It's a very personal thing for me because that's one of my goals. I would love to go back to the same community and just be able to sit down and say, hey, and not from a sense of pride, like, oh, look at me, but like, hey, you can do this. If you want help, get in the car. I'll take you to Sarasota. We'll go if you want to go to Sally Detox. If you need a bed, like we've got homes. I can get you 2 weeks, help you get a job. And so I went to talk to Megan about that because I was really confident that, these ambitious ideas I have, I can't have these high expectations for people like that they're living like that because I don't want to get my heart broken in the process.
My heart's breaking just hearing it.
Yeah, it's horrible, man. It's that's the one part of the recovery aspect I don't look forward to, that running through that dialogue in my head of the people that are there. But I am going to take the time to go up there and at least give all the information I possibly can to anyone that is interested and, be willing to help. But I was talking to Megan and she gave me some really good advice and connected me with some programs here. She's wanting to, she's going to set up a couple of different programs that are in town. But my main goal, I think, at the end of this is I really want to get involved with the judges, the district attorneys, the people in those towns where if you get arrested here for possession, typically your public defender in most cases will get you a deal that offers you a recovery program, right? Like, oh, you can go to the Salvation Army or you can go into this program. And as long as you complete the program, we'll withhold adjudication, or they'll get, they'll pretty much, instead of just holding you for 30 days, putting you on probation and then just releasing you back into this environment, they give you an alternative to recover,
to court order you
to a program. Well, they don't do that in Kissimmee. Matter of fact, I have a possession charge there. When I finally went to court after I was released from Polk County, they made me pay $150 to basically take a 30-minute class online, and that was it. And I thought about that recently. I'm like, okay, well, let's say I didn't have the fortune of meeting you in Polk County, right? And arrive into a place where they just so happen to have structured recovery. If I would have stayed in Kissimmee and they would have offered me that, they would have just let me out and there was no options, right? It was like, take this test, pay $150, go back to the woods. That's it. Well, I want to find a way to bridge a gap with the people of that community, the leadership, the judges or whatnot, to say, hey, here's what's working in Sarasota. How do we implement this here? How can we put a program so when a 78-year-old man gets picked up for being homeless or possession or whatever, how do we essentially sentence him to a program that's going to at least give him a chance?
There might be halfway houses there that we don't even know about. I mean, you probably wouldn't really know unless you were in recovery there,
so what I do know about it is they're not in Kissimmee. They are in like Deltona, 45 minutes to an hour away. I don't know why that is. I don't know what the deal is. There are some programs, but they're not court ordered. They're not looked at as an alternative. And you can tell, like, if you pull up all of those towns on the meeting guide, like, you can just tell because you're like, oh, there's no meetings.
4
here.
meetings today.
Yeah. And they're on Saturday night at 6:30, and then the next one's next Saturday night at 6:30. And then I think that's a lot more common than what we actually have here in Sarasota. I think that
we're spoiled. There's hundreds of meetings a week here.
And so I feel like if I can approach this as a project of like learning how to build these relationships in communities that do not have a recovery program like Sarasota does, then I can replicate that in places other than Kissimmee. So if I don't know, but like, let's say Hardy County or doesn't have recovery, I will now know through the experience of building a relationship with towns that don't have it for the next one.
This is going to be like, you're talking about like a Project Exodus Corp project.
Well, I would,
because
I would say that it's more of a personal Paul project. I'm going to use it as the guise of Project Exodus. But my personal project is Project Exodus. Like, I want to help other communities build what we have built here. It doesn't have to necessarily be a Project Exodus thing. It could be whatever. But I mean, like, I'd like to do my part in building a footprint for other people to then, do whatever, but have options for people.
So let's say you get judges and state's attorneys and public defender's office and on board that we're interested in this idea. You've shown us that it works there. Then what? How do we
Well, I
how do
think
we start a recovery program there?
it's a data process, right? So as you start collecting data, and you can say, okay, well, we have been established in Sarasota for X amount of days, years, whatever, and in that process, there has been X amount of people commenced from our program, and this many of them came from jail, from a court sentence, a sentencing. They were recommended to go into this program from drug court, from whatever. We've had this many come from the Salvation Army. And then you go to those towns and you present them with this data. And the moment that they ever let you replicate it, it's no longer writing a letter to the judge. It's writing a letter to a senator or someone that's over District 9 of the Justice Department, or Ron DeSantis or the governor, and saying, hey, we're actually on to something here. We could use all the support we can get to help create things that are having this type of success, because even if it's, what they say, if it's one person, it's worth it.
Yeah, I mean, we know it works. It's been working in Sarasota for a while, and the recovery homes and programs here are pretty good. Who pays for it though in Kissimmee?
Well, I mean,
because really it's a matter of,
you have to go established, right? Like, so let's just paint a hypothetical. Let's say that we
Joel?
were, yeah, Joel pays.
I feel heavy
I wasn't
already.
looking at you for that, but I just mean it's cost money to do it, but like we know we could do this there, and it could work.
Look, here's the thing. Like, I don't think we're going to have a money issue with us. I think that the more that we do, the more options we'll have from investors or people that are really interested in doing this. I don't think the money's there. The issue is the foundations and the for this idea is not. There's no one actually out there with 10, 20, 30 years of life left, Lord willing, that is that passionate to say, hey, this is what we're doing. I need your support. And if that means that a judge will sign off on the idea of giving, or the lawmakers would say, hey, we can offer this as an alternative to 30 days in jail or 60 days in jail, or, we put them on, 24 months probation with this stipulation. You have to complete this program in order for early termination, whatever.
I mean, their odds of getting better are significantly higher if they go from jail to a recovery program, versus just kind of just like, all right, get out. Now you got to
typically this happens a lot. That I guess I don't know what the stipulation is, but 33 days, right? If the state doesn't pick up your case in 33 days, they have to release you, right, from this Osceola County jail. And that's what happens. They pick you up, they charge you with possession, they hold you for 33 days. The state doesn't pick it up because they don't care. I mean, it's not they don't care. They just don't want to pursue, someone that had this much meth in their pocket. And they release them, and they literally just walk outside. They catch, they hop on the first bus. Usually they even give them a bus pass, like, here's to get back to your encampment. Well, if I would have had if I would have had 30 days in jail, I would have never got sober. I needed 4 months and X amount of days to get sober and really meet the people and dive deep and think about what I've done and have an opportunity. Because again, depending on your addiction and what resources you get made aware of. I mean, Sarasota's great about this. They have the recovery pod.
Tony bonded me out after 4 days, only because he was holding on to some money. And then when I finally went back 6 months later for the sentence, I was like, man, I wish I would have just stayed in jail, sobered up. But I wouldn't have met you at the time. But yeah, 3 days in detox or 30 days in a residential, a lot of times, in my opinion, isn't enough time.
So I don't know. I wanted to illuminate the issue that I see in just this one town. And I'm not trying to critique or criticize anyone for the way that it's set up. I just think that since we know that there's a better way for people that are habitual offenders with addiction that just can't seem to figure it out, where you got someone going to jail for 4 to 6 months and getting back out and using, just, I know that that's their choice, but how much of a difference could we make by just introducing people to what we do here in Sarasota?
We need to sit down. We got some connections with Grady Judd.
I hope so.
Talk to the sheriff. and say,
Well-
"Hey, sir, we stayed in your hotel for a few months, and
Yeah.
we got an idea."
Yeah, and
I mean, how often do you think he talks to people that have been to his jail and who have probably not often?
I don't know. I couldn't
He will
imagine.
shoot and kill you, though.
But we
if
should
you
find
if
out.
you
We
mess
should
around.
definitely find out. I mean, but that's the thing. It's like I feel like we have a platform now. So where do we go with it? You know, we could easily just sit on our hands and do what we're doing with the podcast. I think we're doing great things, heading in a great direction. But where's the jumping off point to venturing into that ultimate goal of helping other communities?
Joel, you need to get your boy. Tell him to slow down.
I've already packed my bags, man. I've already rented out
You
the
got
condo.
your bug out bag already at the house.
Already found someone to rent the condo. I'm out.
Yeah. You know,
He had me at hello, man.
I don't remember what that Kenny Powers line where he's like, people always trying to slow me down. And then Steven's like, I don't know what he says, but it was fun.
You had me at kiss me,
Yeah.
Simmy.
You know, I don't know. I think the real important thing with what we're doing is you have to have a constant vision of something obtainable, and not dating Jennifer Aniston or meeting Donald
That'd be
Trump.
great.
That's possible. It's definitely a vision, but an attainable goal.
Hollywood.
Yeah, I mean, an attainable goal. I mean, is you know, I'm not. Everybody's different, and this is just something that's really personal to me.
I think we're on the right track to be able to do that stuff, especially with the work that Cindy's been doing for us, and
Yeah.
having the connections with Megan and all these other people in the community, these other nonprofits. It's it's going that direction for sure.
I don't want to go in too much of a detail without Joel telling me it's okay, but we got these really weird text messages from a guy last night, and
Oh yeah, we can talk about that.
well, all right. So we have a
Can we? Are you a lawyer?
Yeah, I mean, it cost me $40. I had to do a whole background.
So
check.
last
I'm
night-
good with it.
Yeah. So last night we this was new for me. I didn't know that this was part of running recovery homes, but we get a phone. We both get a text. He gets a text message from a number that's not saved. He doesn't know, but it's basically saying, "I'm going to shut your program down. I'm going to." They were trying to be vindictive and malicious because they didn't like one of the people in our homes. They were spreading false rumors, like calling them pedophiles and stuff like that, but basically trying to intimidate us to get rid of one person in our home, and under the guise of this guy's a pedophile. So last night, Joel sends me the text. It's a screenshot. It's like, find out who this is. So immediately I called the guy. He answers. He doesn't say hello. Just picks up the phone, and I can hear like the TV in the background. I'm like, what in the world? Hello, this is Paul. Who is this? Hey, talk to me. And then he hangs up. So I texted him. I was like, hey, I hear you got a problem with someone in our home. Can you inform me of what's going on? And they come back and like, yeah, this guy diddles little kids. So at the same time, I'm messaging Joel. Joel's like, I'm on it. Background check. Informs the guy in the house that we need to run a background check. There's these things that come up. Comes back squeaky clean.
Yeah, cleanest guy we got in the house.
Really unusual for someone in one of our
Class A
programs.
license.
Yes.
But that's what he told me. He goes, "You're not gonna find nothing. Here's my social. Here's my date of birth. Here's my middle name."
Yeah, nothing.
He's like, "Yeah, I think I know who this guy is. I think I know why." And
But the reason I really brought this up, and we can go as deep as we want to into this, was a comment he made. Is he said it was blackmail, pretty much threatening to go
text message.
via
Yeah.
text message.
yeah,
I mean,
phone.
we know who it is now. So if you're watching, but
Gotcha, mother.
he committed
Yeah.
federal blackmail.
You hear from us on
For
Monday.
what?
Well, here it is. So he said, if we didn't do this, then I'm going to go straight to your funders, the people that fund your program. And I was sitting there going,
Joel?
Yeah.
it was like- it was like-
So he did go straight to me.
yeah, I was like, wait a second, we don't get funding from anywhere. He's like, I'm going to the Salvation Army
Yeah.
and drug court. I'm like, they
No
don't
fun-
fund
yeah.
us. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
But I didn't say that, but I did tell the guy. And again, this was leading up to before we knew about the drug test. I'm like, listen, if this is true, what you were saying is true, then I'm taking it very seriously. I will investigate this. So if you don't mind, can you help me get to the bottom of it? What if you have proof, please show it to me. And he just would not. He would not tell me what he knew. But eventually, Joel gets the drug test or the background check back, and I just send the guy a message, says, just to let you know, we just did a background check national sex registry,
Counties,
local
years,
counties,
every-
like a 4-page list of every county that was checked. And I said he came back with absolutely nothing. And I was like, it's absolutely disgusting that you would go and try to spread a rumor like that about someone out of a vindictive nature. So, and he never responded back. But then I found out who it was.
Maybe he had a thing for Jennifer
Mm.
Aniston as well. It was a jealousy thing, you know.
Potentially, I mean, I will tell you what it made me really think.
That's crazy.
You know what it made me really think was that if someone is going to be that low down and do something like that, who's to say this isn't the same person that is Jennifer Aniston and doing those things? And
Wow.
because you think about the timeline, and Joel knows I was going crazy last night. I was like going through every scenario in my head. And
I know it lit me up, and I didn't even want to do anything stupid last night or say anything crazy. So that's why I got Paul involved. You know, he's always more level-headed.
I will say that the one character defect that I'm the most ashamed of is how vindictive I am over petty stuff. And this one thing, dude, I went deep.
We could be petty too. We could blow his phone up too.
But just
No, it's only. I mean, I'm not.
but yeah, but like to threaten something like we're trying to do a call, we're trying to save people's lives, we're trying to make a change in our community, and to have a vendetta for one person, probably because you weren't following the rules, probably because you weren't working a program, probably because you weren't, showing good work ethic and paying rent on time, probably because you weren't.
Someone told us some truth about himself and he didn't like it.
So, I mean, like, and then I used to be like that too. When I was a lot more immature, I would blame other people for my lack of, I mean, it's just like a childish
It's your fault that I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
Right. And so, I don't know, it just made me realize that, what made me upset about it was I could see this person actually being the one that has been harassing this guy for so long. And, we're going to definitely do everything we can to prosecute this person to the fullest extent of the law. And I say that with, yeah. No, I mean, because I realize now it's like,
I mean, it's pretty,
Yeah.
it's pretty messed up.
You're not going to do that to one of our guys. It's in the story. Like, if you're going to accuse someone of being a predator in that nature and completely invalid, and then threaten to try to derail the good things that we're trying to accomplish over here. Well,
so, I mean, he forced us to go all out on trying to prosecute him, whatever we can do.
My opinion is we're going to make an example out of people like this. And I pray for him, and I pray for his family, and I wish him the best. But this is, I had to deal with my consequences. He's got to answer for this stuff.
Maybe one day he can help people who are shitty like that.
Yeah, when you got me up at 11 o'clock at night, putting my shoes on, ready to walk out the door to go, like it's more to it.
Yeah, that's just a sick person. So,
what time is it?
1:30.
Is it?
It's
Oh,
1:30.
it's time to go.
pros, man.
Oh man. So
We're getting ready.
Next week, Megan Howell
yep.
on the podcast. She is the what is her title there?
I have no idea.
Second Heart Homes.
Founder.
Megan, is she the founder of Second
she's
Heart
awesome.
Homes?
Yeah, she's the founder, the big boss lady at Second Heart Homes, which they do amazing work. Please go check out Second Heart Homes. Great community partner that we have here. They deal with substance abuse and mental illness. They really help a lot of people. So check her out. She's all over the place, man. Purple hair. You can't miss her. Check out Project Exodus Homes on Facebook. That's our recovery home program. You can visit the website for Project Exodus Corp, the nonprofit where we raise money to buy cell phones, bus passes, and things for people in early recovery. That's one other thing. If you really want to help and you ever want to just donate some cell phones or bus passes, anything like that goes a long way. And thank you to all the people that have helped us in that regard. Finally, we just opened the female house. We've talked about that a lot, and we're going to keep going. Joel's talking about getting another one.
No shortage of people, man.
You said Kissimmee, man.
Oh, man, let's go get one in Kissimmee.
I got a connection up in St. Cloud.
Yeah, that's it.
He was my therapist in a program when I was 17, and now he's running some big thing up there, like in
recovery.
Yeah.
What's it called?
I forget what it's called.
I mean, that's the place.
Yeah.
Like where you get out of jail
He's been in the recovery field. With
You go east at St. Cloud, you go west at something else. We need to find out. I didn't know that it was there.
Yeah. I don't know exactly what it is, but he's involved in, recovery, helping people. I don't think he's even an addict, but he just really cares a lot about helping people that are addicted.
Cool.
I think he's got all kinds of mental health.
Probably need to connect with him because I'm probably going to go either in the next couple on a Saturday. Just take off early one day, and I'm going to go up there and just walk out in the woods.
Scope out the meetings, scope out the woods.
Oh, I'm going
Scope out the market.
Give me a heads up and know, and I'll reach out to Troy.
Let's call in the cavalry. If anybody's interested in joining me and going up there, we'll take some hygiene kits, we'll take some pamphlets, we'll take anything, some food. And let's go out and visit these people and just let them know they're not alone.
You bring your grill with too. We can grill up some food.
I'm gonna go there.
Joel's going to throw because he likes the Puerto Rican food.
We need to buy a food truck, Joel.
Yeah,
take the food truck.
I'm going there in my own car. I'm gonna bring 4 people back with me, I guess.
In the Batmobile?
Yeah.
All right, guys. Look, we got some stuff to get to. Thanks so much for watching. Follow us on Facebook. You can also check us out on YouTube. Love you guys. My name's Paul.
Andrew, have a great weekend.
I'm Joel. Love you guys.
Peace. Bye.